Being a CPA means you bring a lot of credibility to the table when you walk into any kind of meeting. So for me, it's given me an identity. You're considered to be a trusted person with a lot of integrity. So when you go into a business environment and you've got that kind of respect from the name of being a CPA, before you come in and talk about what you're bringing from personal experience, you've already got an opening and you've already got a tremendous amount of credibility to help you build on. So I think it gives you just an extra step up in any kind of business environment to really be effective when you walk in and to add a lot to whatever the situation is and to help whatever the client need is or the community need in trying to make a difference. Well, when you talk about me becoming certified, you have to remember that was a long time ago. I got out of college in 1977, so I've been doing this for over 30 years now. When I went into the accounting profession, I was the woman accountant for the firm I started with. I was very accepted, very welcomed, but I also went into an environment that 30 years ago was very much different than it is today. That meant I had to make sure that I presented myself as a true professional and that I always kept what was best for the client or best for the situation in mind. When I left that particular firm I started with 5 years later, half of the accounting staff had already become women because we were all graduating with our degrees in accounting, and I was just on the front edge of that change in the whole profession. When I went into accounting, I know there were a lot of people saying, well, women haven't been in that profession and it's going to be hard, but I always took that as just someone else's limitation. I think that as a person, you set your own goals, you set your own direction. My goal from the beginning was to be a partner with a CPA firm. And I knew that to do that, it meant I had to go out and bring in enough business that I would be asked to be a partner. So I think from the standpoint of being a professional, to me it was important that I attain that level. It was a goal that I had. It was something that meant a level of success for me. So I came into a new community that I didn't know. That meant getting involved in the community, getting to know people from a volunteer base, and then also just from a business perspective. And the more they trusted you and worked with you in the community, then the more likely they were to want to talk to you about their business. So it was a very natural process. From there, I got involved in a tremendous number of community endeavors. I became involved in the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Council, the East Texas chapter of CPA, so our professional association. And when I say involved, I started out at the bottom as a volunteer, just whatever needed to be done, got involved in committees, started working my way up from there, chairing the committees, then chairing the boards, and just really built on all of those experiences. And from the experience perspective, you can sit behind a desk and you get a certain level of experience and a certain level of knowledge that you build over time. But the broader experience you get from being involved in the community and so many different organizations and the people you meet translates to just a tremendous amount of knowledge and a tremendous network that you can bring to the CPA profession that can benefit your business and your clients. So those networks have been just absolutely priceless in trying to help not only the community but in connecting back to my CPA clients. Because of that experience and because of the networks, once I started looking at running for mayor, it was a very natural progression. I think one of the surprises for a lot of people in the community when I did run for mayor was how many connections, how many networks I had. And when you started seeing all of the circles and how they interacted, it worked really well into me representing the entire community and me becoming the mayor and being elected by the people of our community. The CPA certificate is a tremendous basis for just bringing a lot to the table when you volunteer. First of all, I'd have to back up and say I think everybody has a responsibility to give back. We all need to live beyond ourselves, and that means giving back to your community and giving back to others. So it was very natural and very normal for me to start seeing how to get engaged in the community once I got my CPA certificate. You know, those first few years you're really trying to get established in your career. You're setting for the CPA exam. There's a lot of time involved, so I wasn't able to give as much those first few years, but as soon as I could, I started getting involved in the community. And I think for anyone, you get so much more by giving back. The CPA brings a very unique perspective. We have a way of analyzing situations, of trying to find solutions. We're natural problem solvers. That's what brings us into this career. That's what's exciting about being a CPA. So when you go out to volunteer in the community, you're bringing that experience and that expertise as well as the accounting and financial knowledge. There's not a board in your community that wouldn't love to have a CPA that has that type of background to come on their board and really add that dimension and that expertise to their needs. So you're bringing in not just the financial part, but also a very broad business perspective. You're bringing in kind of those whole life experiences that you've gotten either from working for the company you're with or the CPA firm you're with. And it just is a tremendous gift to any board. When you bring that along with the other volunteers there, you can have a very active and a very successful board that can accomplish whatever's needed for the community. Being a CPA, particularly in public accounting, gives you quite a bit of flexibility, fortunately. In our business, particularly in a mid-sized community like we are in Tyler, getting around, being involved in the community is relatively easy. So when it's not tax season, particularly, you want to be out and be involved in the community. During tax season, with the hours we work, we do have to back off some and really be focused on what we're doing. But that whole CPA experience just adds to what you bring to the table. It puts you in with a very good level of business people in the community, with people you become friends with, and it just gives you a lifestyle that I certainly wouldn't have had otherwise. I think I've been very successful in business and also in my private life with the commitments and the involvement that I've made into the community. And in the process of doing all of that, you get to know people and you just make friends for life in all of those volunteer endeavors. I can't imagine what else I would have done if I weren't a CPA. I think this is where God planted me and where I need to be, and it's been a tremendous career. And for someone that enjoys problem solving, they enjoy the whole mindset, the math, and the business side of what you get into from the accounting profession, it would be a tremendous career, and I would certainly recommend it for anyone that has that inclination. Of course, I mean, when you're going in the CPA business, when you're in that career, probably one of your biggest moments is just making partner if that's what you're trying to do. So when I made partner, that was a tremendous goal. Being president of the East Texas chapter of CPAs was certainly something I enjoyed. I was also president of the Chamber of Commerce the same year, which was a little bit of a challenge. But that, and then being involved at the state level where you get to meet CPAs from many different industries and different CPA accounting professions or perspectives, was a great experience. When I got involved at the state level with the Texas Society of CPAs, that brought a whole different level of experience. It brought a much broader view of what the business is and how we could really help other people. So the networks that you develop there and the friendships that you develop there are some of the greatest times that I've had. I served on 3 executive committees for the Texas Society of CPAs and was on the regular board of directors for almost 20 years. All of that, along with my community experience, have helped me be a better person and helped me enjoy my profession even more and feel like there's just so many ways and such possibility of how I can give back to the community. I don't know that there was any one moment in particular, but there have been a lot of wonderful moments when I start looking back over the last 30 years. It was also great to receive the Texas Society of CPAs Distinguished Public Service Award and then to be honored by the American Institute of CPAs because of that. So there's not any one, there's just probably an accumulation of a lot of great moments that make me understand that I've just truly had a blessed life, and I just think I could not have been at a better place. It seems to fit my personality for some warped reason, and it's been a tremendous career that I would certainly recommend for anyone that has the inclination to go into the accounting profession. Being a CPA is probably, in my mind, the upper scale of the business environment. So you have had marketing classes, you've had management classes, you've had just a broad base of business classes in addition to all of the accounting. And when you take that and overlay it with the experience of accounting and being a CPA, you have a very broad perspective on business. That translates into being able to do a really quality job and to bring a lot to the table when you meet with your clients and you're trying to help them with all of their business issues. In 5 to 10 years, that's a question that comes up quite frequently. I'm in my second term as mayor of Tyler, and in Tyler we can do up to 3 two-year terms if the citizens elect you. I've had people coming and asking me if I would be interested in anything at the state level. That's always an interesting thought process. I've told them that if it was, it would probably be more like state comptroller, but Susan Combs is doing such a fabulous job, she would have to be going on to her next role or whatever. So it's really hard from the volunteer and the political side to see where I would be. And then on the accounting profession, I think I would still just be partner. At least within the next 10 years I'll be thinking about retirement, but still be partner and just trying to do the best I can in providing a great service for our community as an accountant, as a CPA, and then trying to just be a good role model for other accountants and for my profession as a whole. I think we all have a responsibility to do the best we can and to give back to our community and to give back to our profession, and I see that as part of my role. Other than that, I don't really see a lot of change.